Welcome everybody back to the 90 Plus Podcast where stoppage time never runs out and the hot takes keep on coming. We're your host. My name is Victor.
Fabio.
What's up, y'all? David.
So today we're going to be talking about the FIFA Club World Cups. Two games happened this week: PSG versus Real Madrid, and then the final PSG against Chelsea. So today we're going to be starting off with PSG and Real Madrid. I'm actually going to give it to David to start off what he thinks about it because he's a Real Madrid fan. So it might have been a little bit painful for him to see this game for sure.
Of course. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely painful. I think it's difficult because the first two goals were big mistakes. I said it in the last podcast, especially with Asensio, that he's still young. I think he's definitely a good player. I mean, if he's playing at this level, he's got to be a good player. But it definitely, we've seen it in this tournament how much his mistakes cost Madrid. In the first game against Aguilar, where he gave away a penalty, then against Pachuca, where he got a red card. And I actually really was hoping he was going to step it up. So something in me was just telling me, like, hey, he might just, drown out all that negative, everything that he's hearing. Yeah,
All
everything.
those minor mistakes.
Not minor. I mean, they're major mistakes, but I thought he would just, really step up. Like maybe just, hey, I messed up. I'm gonna go all out this next game and just prove that I should be playing here. Which is what I think a lot of players, would try to do. And maybe he did, but it didn't end up happening because in the first 5 minutes he made the mistake,
Yeah.
and it was a big mistake. Like I don't know how he didn't clear that.
I think the first 10 minutes, that was Rudiger and Asensio's mistake.
That's why. Then
The
later
first 10
on,
minutes was 2-0.
yeah, so then Rudiger, like you said, made that mistake, which again was another big mistake. And I can kind of understand Rudiger because he was coming off of injury. Like, and he's a big player. Like he's a,
Yeah,
you know,
like happy.
he,
Oh, sorry.
no, I meant like he's just an important player to Real Madrid, and any team he's played for, he's an important player. And I mean, he's a great player, and that's definitely not a mistake he should be making. But again, like as for Rudiger, I can't even count how many mistakes he's made, like in both my hands, maybe like one, two. And whereas as Asensio in a span of 3, 4 weeks, he's made three major mistakes. Um, but no, it was definitely brutal watching that game. And there's a lot of things. I don't want to make excuses for Real Madrid. There's a lot of things I can say. Xavi, he's still getting to know the team and the tactics that are working for them. I definitely don't agree with him starting off Vinny and Mbappe and Gonzalo. Just like went all attack, and I feel like that definitely didn't help them.
Fabio, what's your thoughts?
This was a game I did not expect for it to have this scoreline, if I'm being honest. I thought it was going to be maybe like 4-3, 4-2. I did think that PSG was going to win, but I didn't think they were going to win this comfortably, to be honest. And Real Madrid, I personally been saying that Real Madrid, one of their weakness is their defensive line. It's still not looking to the quality that is expected of a world class team like Real Madrid. And they made a lot of mistakes. Like in the first 10 minutes, you're down 2-0. That sends the wrong kind of message. It demoralizes the team over comeback and stuff like that. And we know Real Madrid this year. They're not, if you're going down, they're not good at remontadas. They haven't done anything like they struggle at changing that pace.
Yeah.
But then other than that, PSG was just really dominant. I think their high pressure were what caused Real Madrid to make those two early mistakes that led to um like two early goals. And it could have been way more. It should have
Yeah.
been way more if it wasn't for Courtois.
Yeah.
Courtois is always a world class goalie that like he steps up in moments like this, and he did. But obviously, like there's only so much you could do if your defense is making mistakes and like you're leaving
Yeah.
one-on-one opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that like it just again, I don't want to make excuses, but there's so much like Dean Howson. I said this last time, like he was probably one of the best signings we had, and you saw it in this tournament, like he really controlled the tempo of the midfield, and I think he's just a good defender that also knows how to play. Like can give good passes. He goes up a lot to like towards the end of the games to attack more. So he definitely gives Real Madrid just like more.
He's better at distributing the
Yeah.
ball to the back.
Exactly.
That's
So
something
I feel
they
like
need.
that was one big like key player that was definitely missing in that game to help us. And just to feel more secure, like even thinking of Rudiger's mistake when he was trying to pass it, I don't know if it was even just like maybe like a like some doubt in him because it looked like he was going to pass it to Asensio and he just passed it all back. So I don't know if maybe it was just some doubt in him right when he was about to make that pass, like, oh shit, I don't want to pass it to Asensio. And then that's kind of what caused him to like hit the ball like however he did. So I feel like just Dean having him there and then having Valverde too. This whole tournament, Xavi's been using him more as of an attacking player, and for him to like to have him drop down to right back, like that also didn't help us when we were attacking.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I called it last week, and somebody in here called me biased, saying, "Oh, you're a Barca fan. That's what you were saying." But this is basically what I've been seeing from PSG, and basically the way that the matchup, their styles faced off. These are the type of teams that Madrid struggle with. I mean, I compared before, but PSG and Barcelona give me a lot of the same vibes, and I feel like Madrid really struggles with the high press, and that's something that PSG did beautifully. That's I think the reason why they went up so early. And I had a question for you guys. Have you guys? So you know when PSG kicks off, right? Like to start off the game, how they always kick it off.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff. Have you guys heard of the reason why?
No.
This is just like to press them.
No. Yeah, well, yeah. Sorry, they said impress.
No, to press.
Yes, I was just reading an article about it, and basically it's a tactic by Luis Enrique, and part of it is high pressure. The other part of it is that like once you give the ball away and the opponents have, like the way that he thinks about it is like the chip on the player kind of turns on to like we're in the middle of a game rather than like, oh, we're starting, let's get comfortable, let's see where this goes. And when you do that right away, your players are starting like, okay, it doesn't feel like minute 1, it feels like we're in minute 20, minute 30, we're halfway through this. And the
have
team's still,
possession.
yeah, the team's still settling in though. The opposing team's still settling in, and that's what makes the counter so good. And I feel like that's exactly what we saw with Asensio and Rudiger. Like they were still playing like, okay, the game's opening up, and PSG was already like 2-3 levels ahead of like, okay, like we're halfway through the game. Let's get these goals. Let's get this dub. Yeah. Aside from that, it's kind of my takeaway. I was just happy to see Real Madrid lose, especially by that much. It's always nice. And
Of course, bro's team couldn't make it to the tournament, but he loves to watch Real Madrid lose.
That's literally like the definition of
Yeah, you can't even say it. Yeah.
All right, but all jokes aside, I do have a question.
participation trophy. That's what I was gonna get at. You're literally celebrating a participation trophy because Barca had a domestic trouble this season.
That's what they've been doing.
Congratulations to Real Madrid and all its fans for participating in the FIFA Club World Cup. That's the highlight of your season.
I do have to say that they got a good amount of money from that. So like that is because I think like you guys made your money back for like all the signings, right?
Dean and Trent,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
That's a plus to see
How much
it.
was Dean?
No trophies, but a plus.
I honestly don't know off the top of my head, but I think it was like I think for both of them together it was like
Yeah, it was
60,000.
around 60. I think they paid a little bit.
I mean, if you think about it, I think Trent didn't pay much at all, so I think Dean would have been most of that money. 50,
I
40.
think they paid a little bit to have him registered.
Yeah. Trent was 10 mil to register him 2 weeks early. Dean was 50 million pounds, approximately 59.5 million euros, with some variables on
Yeah, it's like
Make
69.
Trent.
So yeah, and they won like 84, so they made their money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I do have a question. So going back into the PSG Real Madrid game, how do you guys feel about that lineup for Real? We know that PSG was going with the more traditional lineup, some players in rotation, but for Real Madrid, they were trying like a new thing. They were trying to have Mbappe and Vini up top, and then just have three. So essentially, there were
Yeah.
four in the back.
4-3-3.
Yeah, 4-3-3.
I think that the only thing that really changed from Madrid, I mean, David, you know the lineup better than I, so you could correct me if I'm wrong, but so Dean was off because of the red card, and then Trent, he was off for personal reasons or something like that.
I think it was like injury or something.
Yeah. But aside from that, like, it very much looks kind of like what we were saying the starting lineup would look like, right?
Yeah, I think, and I actually did say this last time that I would have liked to have Mbappe and Vinny play together up top. I think what just threw me off was having Gonzalo in there too. I think it's to me, it's like you gotta either have, like, you can't have all three of them.
They were playing him as a cam.
Yeah, they were playing him as a cam, but
I think that's what's going to be the biggest issue for Xavi this season. You guys have the players, you guys have the capability to be one of the best teams in the world, but it's just finding the pieces that fit together right and finding that squad balance. Because
Yeah.
I think it's very, very attacking right now, and it's
attacking.
and, yeah.
well, that's the thing. That's why. Like, if you look at all other games where Mbappe wasn't playing, it wasn't that attacking. And they were playing. I mean, but they were attacking a lot, and they were scoring, and they were playing really good. Which I don't know. To me, is crazy that he also went in with like, okay, you're playing one of the best teams, PSG, right now at the moment. Like that we can't deny it. They're the best team in the world. Well, I mean, I don't know, because of Chelsea.
Next talking point. for
But
sure.
According to someone's logic, Chelsea's the best team in the world
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. It makes no sense to me, but
I mean, the way they were going before they played the final, they're a great team. They're, you could say, the best team in the world. But to make that, like, just choose a new tactic to say I'm gonna play these all three attacking players
Yeah.
all at once, which they had never played before, all three of them together, or started together.
Yeah.
To do that against a team that is gonna press you really well and play, and I think it just. I don't know. Definitely is a lot to think about with Dean being out, Trent being out, that he just had to like move players around. But I don't know. I mean, people are talking about it and all over social media. That either Vinny has to go or Mbappe has to go. But we did find out that after this game, they both can't be playing.
Yeah,
I get.
I definitely agree with that point.
I was just gonna say I get two questions from basically what you said. One being, would you rather Xavi experiment now in the Club World Cup, get it out the way, and start La Liga off on the correct foot? That's question number one. Question number two. What were we saying? Oh, the Mbappe thing. Obviously Mbappe being a PSG product, or it was Monaco technically, but he's made most of his career as PSG. I have seen on social media a lot about Mbappe being the problem. And if you look at this PSG side that won the Champions League, really the only difference was that I guess you could take out Escalia.
Yeah.
But Mbappe wasn't there, and his position was taken by Dembele. I think we could all agree that Mbappe is the better player, but somehow PSG works better without him. And Madrid, they came off of a wonderful season. They just won the Champions League the year before he joined, and now he joins, and they can't even get a single trophy. So, is Mbappe the problem? That's my second question.
I think you could take a look at it, Mbappe being the problem, but like it's also about what Real Madrid has been missing. Before it was Benzema, and Benzema was a player that like absorbed a lot of the pressure, and then in that situation is a time where Vini was able to shine because Benzema was able to absorb the pressure and then facilitate a pass to Vini where he's able to like take a shot on target and then potentially score. That is not something that we're seeing now. Mbappe does not absorb pressure like Benzema did. Like
Yeah.
people know that Mbappe, all he's gonna do is just run. So if you're able to keep up with him and stay ahead of him, you're better set off with him with that situation. And then Vinny is also the same way. And then like you guys probably saw this in the game. PSG, they were putting pressures with their attackers. Like I'm not sure if you see
Yeah.
those goal kicks where like you have Dembele and Doué like on the box just ready to run.
Yeah.
I think both of the mistakes, were like the one that Dembele had for sure. The second goal was the same thing. It was like super high pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you don't see that from Mbappe or Vini. You don't see them tracking back, trying to collect the ball. And then when you saw them actually trying to put pressure, it looked like adults playing against like kids. They were just able to pass the ball so fluently, and like the pressure that they were putting wasn't a lot of pressure. Realistically, that defense did not feel uncomfortable with the pressure that Mbappe and Vini were putting compared to the pressure like Dembele was putting to Rudiger or Asensio.
I did see a lot of videos too where a lot of Madrid fans specifically were mad because you saw like how Fabio was saying the PSG attackers all pressing really high, and then there was videos of Vinny and Mbappe right after the ball crossed like their section or whatever. Vinny was walking.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, no, I was
Surprising.
gonna bring that up. Going back to your first question though, I think I would like to see just Xabi with more time with the team. I mean, sure he's had, I don't know how many games they've played this tournament, like No, because it was what, 3 in the group stage, another 2,
Oh.
3. So they've had like 6, 7 games. So like to only play 6, 7 games and you're still trying to adjust everything. I feel like in La Liga it won't really matter because they play so many games, so he'll have
Yeah.
much versus like 6 games. But I definitely think he definitely just needs more time to adjust and, like you say, figure out the lineup and the tactics that he's gonna use. But I don't know. I don't see Mbappe as a as a problem. I think it's very different when he was at PSG because if you think about it, like when he was at PSG, like what other superstar was there
Let's
Yeah.
see.
at the time? No. But like
Mbappe?
last year.
I mean,
Oh, that's
Dembele was still there.
But last year, would you have considered Dembele like a superstar? I mean, you Barca, like as a Barca fan, y'all wanted
So-
him out. Y'all didn't want, but like,
No.
But answer the question.
Yeah, I would.
You would consider okay.
But-
So you had
but-
Dembele and Mbappe as superstars. Who else did you have? And the PSG team.
Donnarumma. Donnarumma is one of the better players for sure.
Okay.
Marquinhos with a lot of
Hakimi. Hakimi's been a superstar since the last World Cup.
Yeah, but I think it's very different.
I think-
like versus Real Madrid where they
Right.
had Vinny.
Yeah. I think I see the point that you're saying. It's like we consider them superstars, but
And
that's a weaker side to like the Madrid style superstars.
And not even that. I think it's also like his mentality.
Yeah.
Where he was at PSG, he's like, I'm the star. Like, Hakimi, who are you? Like Dembele,
Yeah,
who are
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Barcelona didn't want you. Like now you're here. You know?
Yeah, I see what you're
You
saying.
get my point. So that's why when he was at PSG, he was like, no, like I'm the guy. I'm the one calling the shots. Like y'all gotta listen to me.
I mean, I do think it's an ego problem at Madrid because I think if Madrid gave Mbappe the tools to be the guy at Madrid, I mean, he already shown this season. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
He was great for them. Aside from Madrid not being able to capitalize on that, Mbappe was definitely the shining star of that Madrid side this season.
Yeah.
Like he won the Pichichi, so the most goals scored in the season. I think he was great for them. I think the problem was that like there is an ego problem, and I don't think Vinny and Mbappe could coexist.
No.
And I think if anyone realistically had to sit down and be like, who do we need to keep? Mbappe has to stay and Vinny has to go.
That's that's literally what I was going to say. That's why I was going to the point that I don't think Mbappe is the problem because again, like you said, he's shown that he can, they can compete and he can play even with this Real Madrid team. But I think that, like you said, Vinny, like Vinny had that one great season, and I think he's still a good player, but to me, he is just very lazy.
Yeah.
And I saw the same clips where like even when he lost the ball, there was like a corner kick where I think it was a corner kick, but he like passed it. He passed it right to a PSG player and then just like walked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think that was a counter that they got like the second. I know exactly which clip you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Like he's just, I don't know if he's just too comfortable and complacent that he knows no one else is gonna take his spot on that left side. But yeah, like it's just like so night and day compared to PSG and the way they press versus like Real Madrid. Like we're sure like Gonzalo and Mbappe could press, but like if you have two guys pressing up there and Vinny's just walking back and forth, like you're not really helping here.
They're just gonna focus on attacking
Yeah.
from that side.
With that being said, I think we could close the lid on that PSG trashing of Madrid and move forward.
I can't wait to see Barca trash Madrid next season, though.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just like
Another
we did
4-0.
versus- Yeah.
We'll see.
We will to see we will. But regardless of that, let's move on to the more important of the games, which was the PSG Chelsea that just happened today. I think it's fair to say we're all shocked. Nobody
Yeah.
was expecting this scoreline 3-0. I think even Chelsea fans, I think if Chelsea fans were expecting or hoping that their team to win, because it was more of a hope than a realistic expectation,
Yep.
they were looking at a 1-0 and park the bus, or we're looking at a 2-0. Definitely not a 3-0.
Yeah.
My initial thought, and then we could go around saying what we thought, but I was really surprised by how much of the possession Chelsea was holding on to. I thought that PSG was pressing, but they weren't successful in their presses, and Chelsea was just moving the ball really well. And I think that's what really opened the pitch for them, and that's what made it possible for them to take off. And after the first, obviously Cole Palmer had a phenomenal showing, 2 goals, 1 assist. But yeah, that's my initial take. What do you guys think?
Cold Palm.
I have to agree with you. Like possession wise, PSG had 67%. Usually in a game when you have more than 50%, you're assuming that you're the team that has the lead, but like for you to only have 33% of possession and be winning 3-0, that means that you're doing something very tactically well.
Yeah.
And I think where they did that essentially made the change in this was having Caicedo and Reece James as those two central defensive mids. And essentially, what I feel was happening while I was watching this game is one, PSG had possession. They were going to Chelsea's side, but they were struggling to get into the box. And I feel because all their passing lanes were being blocked.
Yeah.
So they had to rely a lot of like air crosses into the box and stuff like that. And Chelsea was winning those too.
Yeah.
So I think that's where PSG struggled. Like they weren't able to get any passing lanes into the box.
Yeah.
And Chelsea just benefited and like they exploded those counterattacks. Cole Palmer, ice cold, under pressure. It didn't look like he was under pressure realistically. Like he was
Yeah.
feinting these players, taking shots, and like it's just crazy how he did it twice, same kind of goal twice, and he's like, I could do it a third time if I want to and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I don't know. I just it was unexpected, but Chelsea did really well with their tactics.
And realistically, could have even been more. David, I want to go to you on that because we were talking a little bit about it. But yeah, I think 3-0 was a very nice scoreline even for PSG in terms of like what we saw in the game. There was a couple of plays that could have easily made it 4 or 5. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's also just fun fact. I was hearing too that this is actually the biggest loss that PSG I think has had all season. They lost 2-0 to
They
someone in the Champions League. I can't remember who, and then they lost to Lille 3-1.
yeah,
Yeah.
So 3-0 has been I think their biggest loss this season. But I think just going off of what Fabio said, I think the lineup definitely helped them. They took a lot of notes from that Botafogo game because in that Botafogo game, I was seeing that, like you said, they really like flooded the midfield because that's where PSG plays a lot with Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, yeah, and Jao Neves. So they really loaded that midfield to make sure they were closing all the passing lanes because they know that those are the players that are gonna create these chances for PSG, and they did that. They did that well. But I think, like you said, Chelsea, that first mistake though, I will say that first mistake from Nuno Mendes where he like headed it and it just went straight to, can't remember his name, the right back, I think, Gusto. Yeah.
Gusto
Then he got it. Cole Palmer scored. Second goal, I think, was
Palmer as well.
yeah, Palmer's world, but I was gonna say I was super like intrigued, I wanna say, or like surprised at how easily he like went through the defenders.
Yeah.
Like yes, he did a great fake where he like faked that he was gonna pass it to some other player making a run and he didn't. But there was like 3 PSG defenders right in front of him and not one of them like pressed him.
Yeah, they all
Which we
stopped,
talked
right?
yeah, we talked so much about how well they were doing with like pressing and not just even their defenders but like their attackers. And it's crazy to me that in that second goal, Cole Palmer literally just like walked through to the middle and like knowing that he's so good on his left foot, no one stepped up. They just watched him take the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it could have been more like you said. I think Delap had a chance where he could have scored one.
Oh yeah, Donnarumma. I think first touch off the bench for Delap.
Oh, yeah.
Donnarumma had a crazy save. I remember that.
Yeah,
That was
lucky.
also where he like dove for it, but like the ball was going in. But then what do you guys think of Sanchez, the goalkeeper for Chelsea?
Oh,
He was
yeah.
having a spectacular game.
Yeah, so I was following not so much Chelsea transfer window, but I like AC Milan. That's the team that I really connect with in the Italian league. And I don't know if you were aware, but Mike Maignan, the goalkeeper for France, also goalkeeper for Milan, he was heavily rumored to go to Chelsea. And Chelsea were looking for a goalkeeper. They were very interested in him and other keepers. But I think he really knew that this was his chance to shine and maybe whether it be at Chelsea or somewhere else, get a starting job. And I think he did a good enough job to secure a starting job. Whether that be at Chelsea, I don't know, but he did great for sure.
Yeah, he did great.
Yeah, because PSG had 6 shots on target and he had 6 saves, and then they had PSG had more shots on target than Chelsea did.
You know
So
what
no, yeah,
also-
Sanchez stepped up.
I think it was like in minute 5 or 6 early on in the game, Dembele had like a tapping shot. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think he got like a cross in or something like that. It was like a rebound, and it was like literally inside the box, hand
Yeah.
against the keeper, completely.
He
blind.
did hit it like a little bogus, like he didn't connect right with the ball, but still, like you said,
Yeah.
it was just him and the goalie.
When you're in those positions, you have a high chance of scoring, and like
No matter how,
just
yeah.
the
Yeah.
reactions of Sanchez, I was like, I was surprised he saved it, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, and you know what too? I just saw a clip where people were saying that, everyone was talking about how PSG was gonna win by so much. And I literally saw a clip where they were saying how, like Courtois, we were talking about how Courtois is so good. Even on the ball, like his footwork is really well.
Yeah.
And how he couldn't even deal with the press from Dembele, and they were saying I was seeing this clip that was saying just how Sanchez is not ready for that press from Dembele and the whole PSG team. And I mean,
Maybe they practice a little bit more, but I also think that's just kind of inherited. Like, that's where it pays to have a keeper like that could play with your feet. Like the first keeper that comes to mind is Neuer, and when teams were like very, very pressing like that, that's what made it easier for Bayern to break them down because Neuer is so good at playing with his feet that it wasn't an issue. But yeah,
No, I have a hot take about this. Do you think that one of the reasons why Chelsea plays so good is because they play in the Premier League, and a lot of the teams there do play with high pressure? Because if you look at it, PSG, they have won comfortably against Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Bayern 2-0 with like 2 red cards.
yeah.
But when they've gone against Premier League teams, like they still win, but it's not comfortably. Like, do you guys remember the 3-2 against Aston Villa
Yeah.
in the Champions League? Arsenal, it was like 2-0, but like
It was
Well,
closer than people
yeah,
give it credit for. I think it
yeah.
was more Arsenal losing than PSG taking over. Yeah.
yeah, and like people were saying that PSG was gonna slaughter Chelsea with like 4 or 5 goals, and they struggle a little bit.
I see the point that you're making, and I want to agree with it. It's very interesting because at least the show that I was watching for the game, the narrators were talking about that specifically. They were talking about how like PSG being a Prem League and the Prem being such a physical and high paced league kind of made it more difficult for PSG. Sorry. And Chelsea did a great job at that. Yeah, I would say I do think so. I think that them being from the Prem has a lot to do.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think?
yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a lot of things. It could be that. I've said this before. I'm going to say it every time. In football, every game is different.
Everything could happen.
Yeah, anything can happen. And I don't know. I could also see it. I wanted to say too, it could be PSG being comfortable, especially seeing who Chelsea has played against. I mean, they played against Fluminense, Palmeiras, Benfica, that team from Tunis, Flamengo. So
I don't think they really had. I mean, not to be disrespectful to any of the teams, and you guys know how much I've helped
Yeah.
Fluminense and Palmeiras. Yeah,
But PSG
but-
definitely had a tougher road.
yeah.
yeah,
PSG's road to the final was extremely difficult. They had to go through Bayern Munich. They had to go through Miami. I mean, I guess you could say Miami, Inter, and Real Madrid. Same level.
can't say that.
But yeah, so they had a couple of tough matches getting to the final, whereas Chelsea, like again, no disrespect to any of the other teams. I think they were a phenomenal team, but you could see the level difference between their soccer. So.
Right. So I don't know. That's why I also think I don't know. Maybe PSG went in with the like, if we beat all
got
these other
this.
teams and
Yeah.
Chelsea, who had the easier side of the bracket, and even in their group,
These-
that they didn't even come out in first place. They came in second to Flamengo. Like maybe they just got comfortable. But who knows? It could be a lot.
Yeah, it could be so many things. I mean, I do think that it was very weird to see Kvaratskhelia. He was having such an off game, which is surprising to me. I was also very taken back by the fact that he got taken off at like the 60th minute. He was like the first change. Granted, Bradley Barcola, great, phenomenal player, love him. I do think Kvaratskhelia has that type of magic that could bring you back into a game, and so I was really surprised to see him have such an off day
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, I could see that, but like, it's also one of those points where like, if you're not having a good game, then like, and it's a final, then you need to start making changes.
Yeah.
So I could see why they bench them for.
With that being said, I think two of the other very interesting things that happened more towards the end of the game, the red card, John Nevis's red card.
When he pulled his hair.
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely
God.
hilarious. Kukurea was running. John Neves grabs him by the hair, takes him down.
No, so I will say though, Kukurea first bumps into John Neves
Yeah.
intentionally.
Yeah.
Which like,
And hey, I'm not here defending Chelsea or anything. I do think that the Chelsea players were playing smart. Like they were
Yeah.
also playing the mental game.
yeah.
If you saw Palmer had like a kind of a beef with Fabian Ruiz.
Oh,
at the
yeah,
same
yeah,
time.
and one-
Because they were up 2-3-0. They're like, if we waste time, if anybody gets a red card, this benefits us.
Yeah.
So not saying that Chelsea were clean or anything, but I just thought it was really funny the red card. And then obviously right after the game ended, Luis Enrique confronting what was it, Joao Pedro?
Joao Pedro.
Yeah, he grabbed him by the neck. It was a little weird to see from Luis Enrique. I feel like he's a very composed guy, and I have a lot of respect for him. So I was a little surprised, but I do think it was a little funny.
Maybe there was like some off camera like
Yeah.
beef or like with the benches and stuff like that. But I will have to say I thought Chelsea was the one that was gonna get one of their players was gonna have a red card because they were also like intentionally yellow cards to slow down the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, who was the first one to get a yellow card?
I think it was Casado, yeah.
No, from PSG. One of their players had a yellow card.
Mendes, the one
From Chelsea. Sorry. Do you have the?
Probably Gusto.
It might have been Gusto, but I remember a play specifically where PSG is going on a counter. It's like the 60th minute or something. The Chelsea player that had a yellow card takes down Desiree Doué, and it should have been a yellow card, a second yellow and a red, but for whatever reason it wasn't handed out. So I do think that Chelsea got a little lucky with that.
The same thing could be said about Casado. There was a couple fouls where like if it was a different ref, he probably would have gotten in the red. But was it like the ref in this game? He was a little bit more allowing play to actually happen, like players to get fouls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I will have to say I do believe Chelsea should have gotten a penalty. I'm not sure if you guys saw that,
Yeah,
but then
the
the
shirt.
shirt.
Oh yeah. I did see that
So
one.
my understanding was the reason why that wasn't a penalty was because the contact starts from outside the box, but also
They didn't
isn't
line
that-
up out.
yeah.
Right.
But also they didn't even. I don't
Yeah,
even think
they
they
were-
reviewed it. But also technically, isn't a penalty marked on the spot of where the foul ends or where the foul starts?
It
Because
depends.
if there's
If it's-
continuous contact, it's where it ends, right?
You're right. Yeah.
Because
You're
he
right.
started
You're right.
grabbing. He grabbed his shirt from outside. Sorry.
So if it's like tripping, it's like where it
Where it
starts.
started.
But if it's
If you're
if it's
dragging
closing
him
it
down,
it's
it's,
where it
yeah,
ends.
yeah.
You're right.
So you're right. I do think he should have gotten a penalty for that. But I mean, it's a lot of, and I'm pretty sure that PSG ultras are going to be holding on to this specifically about, oh, the ref, oh, this. At the end of the day, I do think Chelsea deserve that win. I don't think they deserve to win the Club World Cup, and I kind of want to get into that because it's very interesting. I don't think anybody really, even Chelsea fans, I don't think they really had Chelsea winning the Club World Cup. I personally, and I've said this before, I don't think this proves that they're the best team in the world because in my opinion, they're not. But I've also seen this happen before in the Champions League. It was like 2022, 2023, something like that, where they beat Man City. And it was the exact same scenario. David Goliath type of situation. Man City looked like the better team. They were coming off a good season. Chelsea somehow managed to make it to the final. And then they take a 1-goal lead, park the bus, and win it.
Yeah.
So what is it about Chelsea? Is it like maybe Chelsea DNA, kind of like Madrid has that DNA to like, win all those trophies? Chelsea has that DNA to like really stand up against the stronger teams, or is it just like a fluke in the system? Is it an off day for PSG and just a coincidence? What do we think?
I mean, I do want to add on to say that like Chelsea was not like the favorite to win the competition from the beginning, but I have to give credit when credit is due. Like they were performing well in the Premier League. They won the a European Cup. I wouldn't.
League was it?
Yeah, and like I wouldn't say that like it's a fluke or stuff. Like they've been performing well. So like for them to, I personally would have said that they would have made it far. I would have not said that they will have won the final.
Yeah.
But I definitely will have seen them like making it far. But I do have to say that they've been playing good this year.
Yeah, I agree with what Fabio said. I don't think it was like a fluke that Chelsea won, but I don't know. I definitely just wish that they would have competed against or had like a challenge in this competition because looking at, and we said this, looking at the teams they played, they didn't play like any big top teams. So I just wish they would have had a challenge coming up in their route to the final. Going against like a Real Madrid, a Bayern, just someone so that, you know, seeing that they win, it like really shows that they deserved it because they had like such an easier side of the bracket. That it's like, I don't know, most people might say that they don't deserve this win. But whereas PSG, came up beating Real Madrid, Bayern, all these teams, and now they lose in the final. I still think Chelsea's a great team, and they've definitely got some good players. I think João Pedro has been great for them in the 2 games he's played. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, in football, anything can happen. So I don't think it's a fluke, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and on that, we'll close out. We have some exciting things coming up, just something different than how we usually do the podcast, so stay tuned for those videos. And yeah, anything you guys want to say?
Yeah, no, just like David said, we have some really cool things coming up. We know that the end of the European season is basically here, so we got some stuff to keep us going to the start of the next one. Like, subscribe, follow, keep interacting with us. We love interacting with you guys. Thanks for all the love we've been getting so far.
Yeah, the last thing I have to say is hopefully you guys were able to enjoy these competitions that were happening this summer. We can't wait for like the start of the season for each domestic cup to start. But yeah, no, it was a good summer of soccer for sure, or football for
Yeah.
Very well.
anywhere not in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this has been 90 Plus. Thanks for following. Have a good one.